We're grateful that you came by to talk to us about Senate Bill 160. And Senator Edwards, I want to apologize to you. Our committee was not quite ready to go with interpreters, and that was our fault last week. And those that traveled, we apologize. But we're grateful that you came by today, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 160 deals with language development for children between ages of birth to 5 who are shown to be deaf or hard of hearing. The bill basically requires the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, in coordination with the Department of Education, to come up with to create an advisory committee that the bill establishes, and to establish these developmental milestones along the way to the children who are deaf and hard of hearing, and to include those milestones in a resource for parents to use and for educators to use, and to disseminate such resources to the parents and to educators as well, and to local school divisions with materials and training for the use, and so that children in the public schools can get resources to improve their situation with regard to children who are deaf or hard of hearing, and there are a lot of them. And I know there are people here that would like to say something about that.
Well, Senator Edwards, you have been working on the this subject matter for a long time. We're grateful. I know there are groups that are in favor and groups that are opposed. Do you mind if we hear from those groups, and then we'll
Sure.
make a decision? So if it's okay with you guys, what we will do is we will put a clock on this of 5 minutes, and so we'll hear from both sides, for and against, for 5 minutes. And we're grateful to have you here. Welcome. Yes, ma'am. Are you guys in favor? I probably should have asked for those in favor first.
We are in
Okay,
favor,
you'll have
yes.
the 5 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. We're here today to show support for Senate Bill 160, patroned by Senator Edwards. And again, we would like to thank Senator Edwards for taking on this extremely important bill. So thank you. This bill that is addressing a problem in our Commonwealth. Many children who are deaf and hard of hearing and deafblind are arriving to kindergarten unprepared and language deprived. On November 28, 2017, John Eisenberg of Department of Education stated to the Disability Committee that more than half of the deaf children exited the preschool program already behind in language milestones. Deaf children are starving for language. Having a language leads to success of English literacy and a successful future. Andrea Lopez, early interventionist for VCU, states she's also a mother of a deaf child. When I have families ask me how their child is developing compared to other deaf children, it is always disappointing to the families when I tell them we, the state as a whole, have none. Our unique children should not be limited and compared to those that do not have the same challenges as our kids, and it should not be a biased approach by providing one option. Along with DOE, on November 28th, Catherine Hancock of Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services admitted they had no state-level data on deaf children's language development and presented bias to spoken languages service only. Hearing and speaking is not a language, it's a modality. Due to current practice, the average reading level by 18 years of age for deaf population has remained at 3rd or 4th grade level for more than half a century. Tony Rocco, a hearing father of an 18-year-old deaf daughter, wrote, This bill is not about options for or against any modality. This is about providing parents with language milestones so that no matter what language they opt to use with their child, the focus is on language development towards English literacy. Currently, there are standardized development scales for assessment of American Sign Language skills, as well as the standardized developmental scales for assessment of English in place, but they're not being utilized nor offered to parents. These standardized assessments and parental resources will be compiled by the temporary 13 volunteer members evenly represented by parents, teachers, advocates, and experts who use English and American Sign Language, as well as equal number of parents who use spoken English with or without visual supplements such as cued speech. By June 30th, 2019, this committee will have completed their task and be disbanded. So SB is not taking away parents' rights. It's provide access to English and ASL acquisition screenings, post the data on state level, and post resources for parents.
Okay, let me just mention that you're doing great, right? But we do need to make sure we stay within the 5 minutes in case there are others. So if you want to let others speak, it's great. If you don't, that's up to you.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I was finishing.
This is on the advocacy side, right? So,
Right.
maybe, yeah.
Hi, my
Welcome.
name is Jasper Connor. My daughter over here is Ida May. She's deaf. She's learning American Sign Language and English. We are fully exploring the possibility of using a cochlear implant. The people who are going to speak opposed to this bill are going to tell you that this bill would force people to learn ASL. That is not true. If you read the bill, there's no language in it remotely close to that. They're going to tell you that we have a bias towards ASL and we want to push that on people. The reality is that currently in the state of Virginia, there are no resources for parents such as myself to track where our children are at. And this would establish resources so that I can go to the doctor and see where's my daughter at in terms of her sign language, where's she at in terms of her English, related to deaf children. The problem is that without these resources, people like myself who have college degrees and who are educators can go in and do the research and find those things from other states. The problem is that folks who don't have the time to do that aren't going to have any resources. They're going to go to their doctor, and their doctor's not going to have anything to tell them, and that's going to be it. They're not going to have any kind of resources unless the state provides them. So folks who are doing well are going to have those resources all the time. Passing this bill means that everyone has the opportunity to bring ASL and English, or English and ASL, to their deaf child.
We're grateful you came, and you have a beautiful daughter. And all of those that have come here today in favor of Senate Bill 160, would you stand or raise your hand? If you don't mind. Okay, great. Okay, we're thankful for you, the Secretary. Nice to see you, sir. We're thankful that you came by today. Thank you all very much. Next up, those that are in opposition or have some concerns about Senate Bill 160, would you come forward and express your concerns? Welcome. You will also have 5 minutes. Welcome.
Great. Good morning. Good morning. I would like to speak to you a little bit about our opposition of this particular bill. My name is Dr. Lori Bobson, and in order to be able to get through my comments, I have written my statement, so I apologize for reading to you. However, what we wanted to talk to you is that we understand your time is limited and very valuable. I have worked with children with hearing loss who use different languages and communication modalities for the past 18 years in Virginia. The Lead K Group sought sponsorship of this particular bill last year from the Disability Commission. From that meeting, Delegate Pogge and Senator Frivola both picked up sponsorship and patroned this bill during last year's assembly. What happened, though, when we were able to talk to the senators and the delegates about the bias, about the innate flaws that are in this bill, they quickly retracted their sponsorship and gained more information. We have worked for the last 12 years with Delegate Pogge to gather all of our information and develop a compromised, thorough, comprehensive, unbiased bill, HB 676. We have worked very, very hard to gather information from all communication modalities, all languages. We have many professionals and many parents who support our bill from all communication modalities. We have asked them many, many times to include the semantics that we need in their bill, and they have refused. We are listening and spoken language specialists, and we acknowledge the presence and the language of ASL, just like we recognize listening and spoken language in English, but they refuse to put listening and spoken language in their bill. If you look at their semantics are different. We are happy to discuss with you about the semantics and about the games they are playing with the words. Lastly, I want to mention to you that this assessment procedure and policy that they're trying to put in place goes directly against IDEA, goes directly against the autonomy of the IFSP and the IEP programs. We encourage you to speak to Delegate Pogge. We encourage you to speak to John Eisenberg, and we encourage you to speak to Catherine Hancock to get their true feelings on the problems and innate flaws in this bill. Thank you.
Well, you've done very well. Thank you for coming by today. And we do have another 2 minutes and a half. And if you have written comments, we'll take those. But welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Hi, good morning. My name is Leah Muhlenfeld, and this is Charlotte. She is my third child out of 4 and was born with single-sided deafness. The big piece of the current bill you're looking at in 160 that I would like you to take notice of is they're recommending a committee, and not part of that committee is the medical field, which brings education around current technology options and all different language and speaking communication methods. We as a family chose to go with a cochlear implant because the rest of us are speaking and hearing. Charlotte may choose to learn ASL when she gets older, but right now we've given her the gift of hearing, and she's worked her butt off to learn how to listen and be part of our family in this world. Thank you.
She is gorgeous, and the other one is gorgeous too. So she's peeking around the edge. So if we could, and I think we've got about a minute and 35 seconds or so left. So welcome.
Good morning. My name is Lee Hartman. I am the father of a deaf 2-year-old. Charlie was given cochlear implants at the age of 11 months, and since then has started counting. He knows his colors. When you point to, or when you ask him about objects on the page, when he's not looking at your face, he can identify them just through sound. In my family, Charlie was very fortunate. We were told before we left the hospital that he was profoundly deaf, and that we needed to follow up on that. And that was a very important thing that my wife and I did. We followed up. We need to give the resources to families to get from early detection before they leave the hospital, which is part of the IDEA, to intervention. I also have second cousins who were not identified and were not treated for being deaf until they were 4 years old, and they will never be able to speak verbally. They can only do sign language, and so that time is of the essence, is of the most important part. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for coming. We wish your daughter well. Yes, hi, welcome. We have about 30 seconds, so maybe you can share with us your thought, and we'll move on.
I'm the mother of Maxwell Shane, and Max was diagnosed with a neuropathic component, which means that he has a nerve issue, and the cochlear implant helps Max to be able to hear. I'll let you
Hey, Max.
And Max is now in the process of testing for gifted and talented. We identified Lori Bobson at age 14 months and were implanted with a cochlear implant by 2 years old and have
Perfect.
had amazing results as a result.
Thanks, Max. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by today. Very good. And you just want to share with us, you are, what's your name, and you are?
My name is Valerie Abbott, and I'm the parent of a hard of hearing child.
Oh, Valerie, thank you for coming today.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Okay, good. Senator Edwards, you want to wrap up? The committee will make motions as it wants. Senator Edwards, just as you do this, I think that I would hope that maybe we would carry this bill over, not kill it, but carry it over to next year. And I'd like to get DBHDS to give us some guidance on this bill. I know you've worked hard on that, but why don't you share with us your final thoughts, and then we'll consider that,
Well,
sir.
this would not prevent any parent from doing what they think they need to do for their child. And this, however, would add something that we don't now have to the public school system. Have an advisory committee to give advice as to the best way to provide assistance to parents aged 0 to 5, and so the children can be ready to go to school. It adds something. It takes nothing away.
Right. John, I think that you have described it correctly. The question is, would we need to set up a similar one for the other side? But maybe we can just see. Are there members of the committee with questions or comments about Senate Bill 160?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Chase.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'll ask this of the patron of the bill, but I guess my biggest question here is I understand that the folks who have the cochlear implants don't have the desire, I guess, at an early language to learn the sign language. Is that correct? Is that just get a shake of hands?
Well,
No, that's not true. My daughter's getting a cochlear implant. She's learning sign language. That's not true.
Okay.
She's doing both.
Okay.
Parents still would have autonomy.
So let me just say, John, thanks for coming. We're going to go through the chair. That's going to be the way it's going to work. Okay. And we're grateful you came. So, Senator Chase, why don't we get the answer from John? Why don't we see what your answer is, and we'll be in great shape.
My understanding is that's not the case. You know, parents would still have autonomy to do whatever they want to do. My
And-
understanding.
Great, Senator
Mr.
Chase.
Chairman, just a follow-up question. I'm trying to figure out the option that would give people the most number of options and not restrict those options. And I've heard both sides, and I still don't know which of those options is going to provide more options.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
Sure, Senator
I don't
Edwards.
see this takes anything away. It just adds something that we don't have. That's it.
Okay. Senator Chase, does that complete your questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Sure. Senator Howell.
you know, Senator Edwards has probably inadvertently stepped into a very profound disagreement within the hearing impaired community. There's some things I just don't think we should get involved with. It's not our business to legislate this kind of thing. It's up to the parents and their doctors to make these determinations. I will support the move to carry over, but I would prefer to PBI.
Okay. Are there other comments, Senator Donovan, and then we'll come to here. So Senator Donovan first.
I'm just going to echo these thoughts. Listen, me included, but all of the senators up here, we really want to do the right thing and make the right resources available for all children to learn in Virginia. But when the subject matter experts, in this instance, the families, are in conflict about what that is, it leaves us making a decision that's maybe outside of our realm. And so I think that it's best that we make sure we don't cause trouble with legislation, which is one of the things we do all too frequently. And I would concur with continuing it.
Okay. Senator Black.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really want to thank Senator Edwards for doing this. We have just a tremendous amount of compassion for families. I have 16 grandchildren, and I know how you feel about your kids. We love them all, and they're absolutely adorable. And so I'm just grateful, and I wanted to express my gratitude to Senator Edwards for the fine work that he's done on this. Thank you.
Okay. So, Senator Edwards, thank you very much. As always, you've provided us a great subject matter. So I think that Senator Donovan, you were talking about maybe we would carry this bill over and we would talk to DBHDS. Is there a motion to that effect? There's a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman.
And Senator Cosgrove. Is
Just
a motion
very
second?
briefly,
Senator Cosgrove.
It should be noted that Senator Edwards served in the United States Marine Corps. He always believes in carrying the most weapons and the most valuable weapons to any battle. And I tell you what, just bringing Charlotte and Max here was unfair. That's all I got to say.
Very good. Great. Guys, so there's a motion to second that the bill be carried over to the 2019 session, and we have a discussion with DBHDS. All those in favor record your votes aye. Those opposed, no. And the clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 15, nay 0.
Ayes 15, no 0. Senator Edwards, thank you very much. We've been looking forward to hearing this discussion, and you have represented it very well, sir.